Hey, Momcult listeners, real quick before we get started, I just had a question to ask. Have you gotten your ticket to the Mother's Day dinner yet? Don't worry, it's not on Mother's Day because we're not crazy people. It is the Sunday after on May 21st from 4 to 8 p.m. This year, instead of being in my backyard, we are upgrading to a beautiful venue hosted by my friend Molly with Juniper Green Kitchen. Please check out our Instagram if you need any help on deciding if you want to be at this event or not. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be delicious. The link to reservations and tickets is on our Instagram. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email themomcult@gmail.com. And we so hope to see you there. There is a perfect example of motherhood out there. We've all felt its presence. It lingers in our social media feed, in the products we buy, the answers to the questions we research. Even though we know it's not real, we feel it spotlight what we could be doing better.
Join two best friends as they step off the stage of motherhood and go behind the scenes with moms from different walks of life.
The Momcult Podcast. Real moms, real talk, real tired. Hey guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Momcult Podcast. I am so excited for today because we have Mrs. Kellee Akers, who is an elementary school principal in East Nashville. Welcome, Miss Akers.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I don't know how to call you Kellee. It feels very weird.
Please do call me Kellee. Please do.
Please, for the love of God. Someone, anyone call me Kellee.
Call me Kellee, please.
I noticed you were calling her Miss Akers, and I deliberately was like, Kellee.
Please, yes, let's.
I'm going to read your bio because it's one of my favorites so far. Kellee, that's you, is a 25-year urban public school educator, currently an elementary school principal, mother of 3 teenagers, and married to Richard for a long time. She's been renovating an old house for 20 years, trying to be a gardener, and in constant war with dirty dishes and laundry. She's still trying to have it all and look fab doing it, which you do.
You do.
You do.
Thank you.
You do.
I mean, when you're like
Holding
doing
my sign?
holding the
Yeah.
stop sign at the end of, or do you just do it at the end of the day, or do you beginning?
I do both, morning and afternoon.
She does it all. I'm telling you.
Wow.
She's always wearing just some cute dress. She's got really good legs. And I think
noticed.
she knows it.
I do.
She's always wearing like some like above the knee, like light frilly something. And I'm always
Highlight
like,
the assets.
yes,
I was going to
exactly.
say, emphasize your assets.
Her animals are naughty, and so are her kids sometimes. She believes balance is a knob on the radio. Kellee likes the concept of having friends, but struggles with the implementation. And hobbies and me time are aspirational at this point.
That sums up my life right there.
I wanted you to go into further explanation of she believes balance is a knob on the radio. I loved that.
Like that. Mm-hmm. I just, or maybe if it's not a knob on the radio, it is definitely a long game. Mm-hmm. So spending time worrying, am I meeting everyone's needs all the time? Mm-hmm. That's a fool's errand for me. So
Yeah.
I don't do it.
Yeah.
I can't anymore.
How old are your teens?
18, 17, and 14.
Wow.
All intentional?
I didn't plan to have any children.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I really didn't have strong feelings one way or the other. I didn't aspire to be a mom, nor did I have any reason not to be a mom.
Gotcha.
And honestly, the first one, we had moved to East Nashville, and that was back in the time when it was harder to get like all your birth control transferred and all those good things. And I got a little off schedule, and surprise, there we go.
That was the first one?
That was the first one.
And then, so 18 and 17, we said you didn't plan to have any kids, but was it a surprise?
Oh,
Was number 2 a surprise?
Number 2 was a tremendous surprise. I really thought maybe I was dying because I was nursing.
Yeah, you weren't
and working. So I'm working and I'm nursing and I'm like driving home and fall asleep at the red light. I think I am so tired. There is something tremendously wrong with me. And I go to the doctor and they're like, no, you're just pregnant.
It's worse.
You're nursing a baby and carrying a baby and working, and that's
my
all the
gosh.
problems right there. So just, yeah.
How long after
There's
gave
16
birth.
months between my first and my second.
Dang.
That's one of my best friends. Hers are 16 months
16
apart.
months.
Except hers was intentional because her first one was so chill
Yeah.
and easy. They were like, let's just get this
keep
over
going.
with.
No, my first one was my most high strung. So maybe he set the bar to a
Right.
point that I thought all children would be like this. And then when I had 2 girls after that, they were so much easier than he was.
So boy, girl.
Yes.
What about girls as teenagers versus boys as teenagers? How's that?
Ooh. They both have lots of opportunities to really step in there and get your hands dirty. Lots of good chances. So my son, being, now 18 years old and over 6 foot tall, is obviously a man and has no need for anything that
course.
anyone has to say. He's got it. It's all fine, Mom. I got it. It's fine, Mom. What are you worried about? It's all fine. So that's kind of his thing. Meanwhile, he's been a mess his whole life. So,
I don't know where you got this illusion
Yes,
from that you have
I've been-
anything figured out.
Exactly. I've been bringing you cleats to your games at 16. Come on, son. This
All
is
right.
not a surprise, but here we are. And then my middle child, she is fiercely independent. So in some ways, she's probably the most difficult. I think when I don't have to be her parent, it's going to be awesome. Because it's going to be fun, and it's just right now I still have to be her parent.
That's how I feel about Ava.
Yes.
I'm like, can you be 21 so we can go get cocktails
I know.
together?
That's what I think. I'm like, we're going to have such a great time then. But right now, you really need to come home and, do some things, type deal. And then the youngest, she's the easiest, honestly, of the 3 of them. I said, that's the reward for the third.
Right.
That's
Make
nice.
it easy. Yeah.
You don't always hear that. I was the youngest, and
She was a
Not the
handful,
easiest.
clearly.
Clearly. You were the naughty one.
is the boy protective of the girls?
Probably not as much as I would like, to be honest. Maybe part of that was being raised to sort of think that mom and dad just do their things and, there's that equity piece and mom's okay. So I don't think he necessarily internalized the idea of someone else needing protection, particularly gender-based protection.
Where are you from? Sorry.
You can tell that I'm not from here when I talk. Is that what you're saying? So I am from Upper East Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains, right on the North Carolina line.
Cool.
That's why I sound a little different than y'all.
That
Okay.
North Carolina line.
Yeah.
I'm from Mississippi, and I like to talk about. I don't always have my accent, but maybe it'll come out.
It comes out sometimes, yeah.
And I feel somebody else has one, or
Right.
yeah,
I try to repress it, and it is what it is. So here you go.
yeah, I like it.
Well, unlike knowing if you wanted to have kids or not, was being a teacher something that was on the forefront for you since you were little, or when did that come into play for you?
No, it didn't. I learned how to grow up by watching soap operas. And so I started out, I was going to be a hospital administrator. Because if you ever watch soap operas, that's a very glamorous job. And you get to
That
dress
clipboard.
up every day. And you get to meet friends at the hospital cafeteria. And there's just a lot. So I thought that would be a great career. And I started in there and I was like, this
amazing.
is terrible.
Like on more than one soap opera, there's a
Of
hospital
course there is.
administrator that's glamorous.
If you watch Guiding Light, they always are having meetings in the hospital. Every soap opera, with the exception of maybe The Young and the Restless, people were in a hospital. So I thought, this is a glamorous life. Look at these women. They're beautiful. It was fantastic. So I started out with that. And then I got in there and thought, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. I hate this stuff.
Yeah, this is not at all like the soap opera said it would be.
This is terrible. I am not happy doing this. So
Where's
then
the
I
good
switched.
drama? This is all
Exactly.
stressful drama. I want the entertaining drama.
Yes. I thought there would be handsome doctors, perhaps some espionage, some murder, things happening. Nothing like that happened. So I switched and became an elementary educator
Now
because I
they-
am
yeah.
good with kids. I will say, I'm kind of good with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the switching from being a mom to being a principal, and just how are those roles similar? How are they different? Is one easier than the other?
I think the hard thing is that, all day I have to be my most patient. I have frequent communication, different types of communication. And so you kind of give all that. And then when you come home at night, that's probably the area where sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here having a discussion about something that's really not important or
Right.
ridiculous. And I just want to be left alone and eat some cheese and leave me be. But that's the hardest part of the balance, is having a job in which you are on it and you have to be patient with other people's children and with other families and with your staff, and then come home and carry that over to your own people. Yeah.
When you had your first, were you already in education then? Okay, so you've never had the experience of having a different job with kids. I was wondering. Okay.
Nope. I've always done it with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you ever teaching at a school they went to?
My youngest I brought to my current school.
Oh, okay.
But my other two, I was always in different places than they were. But my youngest, I brought her over to where I currently am, and then she moved on and went to middle school and such.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say you always, at least at school, you do have an aura about you that seems like it would be difficult to push you over the edge. Like, it feels like you let things kind of slide off you, which I'm sure you've just discovered over the years that's the easier, the easier route.
Right.
Instead of being reactionary to all the things, because there's too many things one after the other. You've got an entire staff, you've got all the kids, and then you've got all the parents of all the kids and all of their needs. Like, I just can't imagine.
I can't either.
That would be my least favorite part, is dealing with other parents.
Yeah. You don't have to say though.
No, I won't. But what
We want like a confidential list. Slide it across the table.
Write it over here and slide it across. That was the plan. That was the plan. Y'all can't
Putting
see
you in a
that.
tight spot. We asked the hard questions.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I do think it's important, and it does help in my personal life, and it helps, in my mom life, that though my kids might disagree a little bit, just being, the captain's got to be calm when the ship's, when you're in a storm. You just, and that's sort of how you view the role. And I try to take that over to being a parent. Like, my job is to be calm. My job is to be the most emotionally in control person in this room. So I got to figure that out. Even when on inside I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest for me. But I would think all the experience seeing how other people's kids deal with the same stuff would help. Because like when I get glimpses of that around and I don't see them all the time, then it's helpful to me always and gives me, like, alleviates my anxiety a little.
It is. It's nice. Yes. Yeah. We are all in it together.
Yeah. Did you like better having your youngest with you, or which scenario of them at being at a different school, was that better? Or do you have
Do you
a
like
preference?
the separation?
The separation. I'm going to be honest, and I would say this in front of them. I would have only brought my youngest with me because my other kids, all of my kids, we love a boundary and we like to push it as hard as we can and step over it and roll over it and all those sort of things. So, yeah, it was good for them to have another person who was the principal and not mom.
Right.
That would have not have been very effective.
Yeah.
We are sending you to your mother. Oh, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole calm
Right.
on the outside would have really been tested.
No, yeah, it would have been like, shut the door. Yes.
I remember, I don't even know when it was probably a year or two ago, and I just casually asked you something about your kids, and you were like, ugh, they're all so annoying.
They are.
And I remember being surprised. Like, I feel like that's something I would say to somebody, but I was surprised it coming from you because you're a principal and we don't know each other super well. And I feel like the last year of having this podcast, most of the time I am talking about how hard it is being a parent to a 10-year-old in a way that I was not expecting.
Right.
Because I thought that was going to happen when she was a teenager. So for it to be happening earlier than I expected. But I remember you saying that to me. That always makes me be like, I'm not the only one. There's just a certain time in their lives where they are going to just be
They're just going to be terribly annoying humans. Yeah, they just sort of are. And I mentioned to my son, my oldest, that I was going to come do this today. And his advice to me was to get on here, and he said, you need to be honest. He said, because some people just talk about how, like being a mom or being a parent is so easy.
so fulfilling.
So, yeah, he was like, you need to get on there and tell the truth and be honest. And I was like, yeah, you're
Like,
right.
yeah, well, I'm going to throw you under the bus.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. I was planning on it.
I love that that's his first response.
Yeah, that is really cute.
That he's aware that other people speak that way about it. I do
know.
feel like it's one or the other. That's what I hear the most. Is
Right.
really negative or hyper positive, and not a lot in the middle. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me interested in what he has seen or heard.
Yeah.
Where he's like, where that's what he feels like the image of motherhood is giving out to the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of the facade of parenting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because he's definitely not living it.
No,
with you.
he's not. He is not. We are not those people. We are not those people. But he has somewhere this idea. I don't know. He doesn't watch soap operas, so that would probably have been
missing
it.
out.
Yeah. Probably where it was. He missed out.
Well, one more thing about, or maybe
Yes.
many more things, but what are the ages? It's 5 through 12 that are at your school?
At school, actually,
middle school? Middle school.
3 through
Elementary
11.
school.
I've
Yeah.
got 3 through 11.
3-year-olds.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And Ava's been there since she was 3.
yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
That's crazy.
I'm sure you don't remember me coming in for my scared little tour, but I remember meeting you for the first time.
Wow. Yeah, I do a lot of those tours. But yeah, 3 through 11. So a big range at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. So it's just hard for me to wrap my head around. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, speaking of you talking about your job being to stay calm and at least give the illusion that everything is fine, we will handle this. I wanted to note that this episode won't come out until May, but currently while we're recording, it is April 13th, which means that the Covenant school shooting was almost 2 weeks ago on March 27th. And we had already had this on the books before that happened. And I don't know, I just felt, I'm glad that other moms are going to be able to listen in and hear about a situation like that from your perspective, as far as just helping people process and helping people grieve. And I was just wondering what an event like that, what the after effect is like for someone in your position.
So security and safety is always a topic. And because this situation was close to us, it wasn't too long ago we had Texas. And then before that, this is such a frequent occurrence that we always are, what is the plan? What is the plan? So you think in scenarios. If this were to happen, do we have a plan for that? If this is to happen, let's practice it. Let's make sure we have the plan. But also balancing that with the fact that I do have 3 to 11-year-olds. So school is a safe place. Mm-hmm. School is a place where grown-ups take care of you. And and so finding the way to say, we need to make sure everybody knows what to do. But we also need to make sure that we all don't push that to a level that anxiety elevates with kids and their families. A way to communicate what's happening at any given point. How do we have that good, strong communication? What is the plan? So finding that balance of walking the line of we're safe and we're prepared and we're doing all these things, but we're also keeping a place where parents can come to school and eat with their kids, and we're going outside and playing, and we're doing those things that, just the balance, I think, has been that's been the hardest part in some ways the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Keeping the perspective in the midst of all that and remembering, to remember to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remembering their kids. And it was interesting. So the Monday after the event at Covenant, the next Monday, we had a couple of things at school to sort of recognize that event. So we had, so at 10:14 in the morning, we had parents, and they came and sort of held hands and made like a circle around the school to sort of symbolically, talk about talk about protecting the school and those sort of things. And then we had our choir sing at the end of the day, and they sing a song called "We Are Nashville," and it's the cutest song in the world. So we had them come on the intercom, and they did the chorus a cappella for "We Are Nashville." So then we're leaving, just doing normal dismissal. And I have one kid who walks out who is like, "Oh, did we do all that because of the shooting at school? I heard about it," has lots of information. And I'm like, "Yes, we did. Have a good day. Get on the bus. Time to go." Yeah, we're going to go. And about 5 kids later come out the door, also getting on the bus. And this kid stops and said, "What happened at that school? Why did we sing that song?" Mm-hmm. And so you right there see level of access.
Right.
So you have a kid who's talked about it with their families, watched news, seen those things, had more that they're, been very open and transparent with that. And you have another family who has also said, we're not letting that into our home right now. We're going to, I don't want them to have that. So finding a way to make sure both of those needs are met is also, that's the other balance you must find.
Right. It's different with every kid, every family.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've learned from being a teacher that you've really implemented into being a mom?
Yeah, I do think the staying calm, like truly realizing that you have to be the adult in the room.
Yeah.
I was the adult when I stood in front of 25 of them, and I am the adult now.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm thinking or feeling or processing, and again, I should put a disclaimer here and say I'm not saying these things are healthy or even appropriate.
Or that they work.
Or that they even work. But, the Gen Xer in me is like, we're going to repress all that. We're going to push it down. It's going to be pushed far, far down. And
There's
we're never
so
going
much
to
space
touch
down
about
there.
it. There is.
Just keep pushing.
Just keep pushing. Hold it down. And we're never going to talk about it again, ever, ever. So, I don't know if it's a healthy way to do it, but it is how it's
the functional way.
It's the functional way. It's what we do.
Hey, Momcult listeners, it is almost Mother's Day, and what more could you possibly want more than a free car wash? Sleep? Nah. Dinner with friends? Forget it. For a limited time, Momcult member, you can get a Best Wash, which has a $25 value, free. Just text Momcult to 30400 and get a code for a free $25 car wash texted to your phone from Camel Express. We love Camel Express. Visit camelexpress.com to find your Camel today.
Wait, can we backtrack? Because I know that you have a story that involves cleats that I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear your check-in if you have one,
Gosh,
and I have one. Maybe it's a
no, go for it.
I have one.
I did not even
that.
think. That shows you how excited I was to dive in. Because I didn't even think about talking about myself.
Just really raw dog that.
She was just like, I'm just going in.
I also, we always have a limited amount of time, and
I know.
thing I want the least is to feel like we left
rushed in that.
Yeah, that we're rushed. I hate it.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm sitting with two, chronically late people now at this table. So
who was on? We were on time. We did great today.
That's true.
she was early. You were really early. Really early.
I really shined today.
A little too early, if I'm honest. Awkwardly early.
I'm at the front door, like a creeper. Like, hello.
Were you here first?
Yeah, she got here before me.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. Not awkward at all.
Nice.
Not at all.
Nice.
Not at all.
Yeah. RuPaul says he likes to get places early to keep people on their toes. Like he used to be always late.
Right.
And felt like he was addicted to that. And then now he's early. So
Nice.
that's my dream.
That's your dream.
That's the dream goal.
I was telling Joy that my being late, I think it's sort of my last act of rebellion because my parents were born in the 30s and then I was born in the 70s. So they were of that. My dad was military. Like, we're going to be 30 minutes early and our shoes are shined and we are ready for life. And so I hated it.
Oh.
I thought it was absurd. Like, why are we sitting in the car for 30 minutes? This is ridiculous. I could have stayed home. I could have done something else. So I think sometimes inside it's, 16-year-old me rebelling and saying, damn it, I'm going to be late. You can't stop me. I'm going to roll there.
I can do it however I want.
I can do whatever I want. I feel like that. It's like, grow up, Kellee. Really, please.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
What happened with your son's face in the cleat?
Oh yeah, this was last night.
That was last night. So I am a closet type A person. So I appear like I'll chill and relax and everything's cool. Nothing. It's all good. Meanwhile, I am studying for like any question you might ask, any topic we might talk about, because I'm going to ace this test. I'm gonna get there.
The podcast test.
The podcast test. Yeah, I'm an A on it. So I was sort of prepping and thinking of all these things. And my oldest, all my kids play sports and do a million things. We'll talk about parenting Olympics if you all would like to talk about the mom Olympics that we all do.
Yeah.
So he had a game last night down, and he's playing the game, and all of a sudden I get a call, and luckily my husband is there, but I get a call from him, and he's like, well, we're headed into the urgent care. And he sends me a picture, and my kid's been kicked and cleated in the head and has, a 2.5-3-inch gash across his forehead, flayed open. Yes. So I had to stop prep.
And send me a picture.
I did. I sent a picture. It's like, see, I had to justify why I wasn't studying and being prepared. I totally had to justify it. It was my excuse note. Look. Yes, it's really happened. So then I had to go down and, stand there with him while he was sewn up and, all those sort of things. Mm-hmm. We did that a lot, though.
Day in the life.
Yeah, a day in the life.
Yeah, so my sister will come on the podcast and do an after the episode with us for each guest we have. And the last time that she was on, she was talking about the chunk of years where your kids are involved in all the things, but they can't drive themselves anywhere yet.
Yes.
And she was just like, I do not miss that period of time. Like the juggling of all the extracurriculars, and all of a sudden you're she was talking about the transition from creating your own, when they're at home, you're kind of creating that world and you're kind of setting the standards and the rules and how we do life. But as soon as they move into school, then you're both answering to this other timeline of events where you need to be at these places at this time and you need to be involved in this and this and this and this. And just the grieving process she went through when they went from her creating the world to, now we're just like cogs in this machine that we're all answering to something bigger now. But you're just a little past that. Because I'm sure your oldest
my oldest two drive.
The oldest two drive.
The 14-year-old still must be taking places, but
do they take her?
They do.
Okay.
They do. Yeah, they take her and do some of those things. But you still, when it's a game, one of us needs to be there to watch you. You may not get both parents every time, but one of us needs to be there. If it's a performance or track meet, whatever it is, one of us has to be there to cheer you on.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not driving you there, you're still physically there, kind of doing those things.
Do you feel like you and your husband I feel like when your kids are little, the after effects that has on your marriage and kind of the knob that's the balance that you're always kind of figuring out. Do you feel like your kids are all over a certain hump where you found your balance with them at this age, or is that kind of still constantly changing?
I don't think I found it yet, because basically my schedule is still 4 nights, working 5 days a week, and then 4 nights a week at least at an event or taking someone to a practice or watching an event.
Yeah.
And then a weekend college visit, and then a weekend tournament, and then so I don't think I've found that yet.
Yeah.
But I think early on, sort of deciding with your partner, if you have a partner that you're doing this with, that, again, not saying it's healthy, but that having that honest discussion that it's not going to be about us for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we can be okay with that. Like it's okay that it's not about us.
We'll both hear.
Yes.
We'll both be here when we get back.
Right. I'll see you on the other side. When we traverse this mountain, we will meet up again at that point. But just having that, kind of honest conversation probably manages expectations a little bit. Mm-hmm. So one person doesn't go into it thinking, oh, we're just going to carry on as we were, only now we're going to have all these people with us that do it. Mm-hmm. No, that is not how it works. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is not at all how it works, particularly when you have 3 of them in 4 years. And it's not how it works. No.
Yeah. What do you remember about the beginning when they were all little?
So this is probably one of my favorite. It's an old story, but one of my favorite mom stories. So when my third was born, so imagine I have a 4-year-old at home and I have one that's 2, about to turn 3. So 4 and 2 turning 3. So Richard goes and picks him up, brings him back to the hospital. And I had read, all the things I'm going to do right this time. So I have on this velour lounge suit so I don't look like I'm really in the hospital, because that could be scary.
Right, soap opera hospital.
So I told you. I have some models in my life. So I was in my this blue velour lounge suit. And I'm sitting on the couch because you don't want to be in the bed and you don't want him to think anything has happened. No, I'm just here taking a break and look at this baby I'm bringing home. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I have this suit on and my last kid was like a giant. I mean, she was physically a giant.
Yeah.
So
how much did she weigh when she was
weighed
born?
9 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So physically a giant. So 9-pound babies, they are so big they squeak when you put them in that little plastic tub. I was get in the tub, squeak, 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 squeak. Yes, that's what I had to do. So I have her in the tub, and here come my kids. And immediately My 4-year-old, he hops up on the bed and he starts pushing all the buttons. So it's like front, back, up, down, paging the nurse. I'm like, start pushing the buttons, TV on, TV off. He's just like thinking it's the best thing.
Right.
The 2-year-old comes in and takes one look at her sister in the box, cries, tries to go under the little bed and like kick the bottom of it, and is just crying the whole time. And so we are looking at her like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Nurses are coming by and poking their head in. And I said, I need you to take these people out of here. All of them go away. And they left. And I don't think I saw him for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
It was like just
Best day and a half.
Yes, yeah. Just leave me and Kate here. You all go home. Come back when it's time to pick me up. That's how we had to do it.
Yeah.
But it was comical. The amount of noise and crying,
the chaos,
and just the
that
chaos
enters the space. Yeah.
And I thought, this is going to be my life for the next 18 years. Hold on, it's going to be great.
My mom, when she was in the hospital, there's 4 of us.
Yes.
And on the second, third, and maybe with me, but I know on the second and third kids, and they were really close together too, like 1 and 2 years, she would say that she thought they looked a little yellow and maybe they had jaundice, so she could just stay.
I understand. I totally understand. You would find any reason. Have you scanned everything? Maybe just do one more scan. I understand.
Yeah.
I do.
I remember the nurse came in and was like, we can take her to like the nursery area to if you want to get some rest and can bring her back in when she's ready to breastfeed. And I was like, yes, let's do that. That's one of the things I tell all my friends when they have babies, if they're going to have a hospital birth, I'm like, just say yes to it because that's the last sleep that you're going to get for a while that doesn't come with some sort of price, whether it's someone doing you a favor, like it's,
Right.
You told me that, and it was really good advice.
It is.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
I wish
I thought I would
like,
feel
no.
bad. No. I thought I would feel bad, but I was like, no, I hadn't slept in like 30 hours at that point.
Well, it's hard because they're new and cute and sleeping, and you're like, no, I can just. There's like the fantasy of I can hold you and snuggle with you, but you'll get to do that later.
Yeah, I was going to say
for longer
do that.
longer
You'll have
than you'd
lots
wish.
of opportunity
So many
to do that.
opportunities.
So many opportunities to do that. So yeah, I fully endorse that as well.
What's your check-in, Sarah? How's your week?
So we went to. It's like I don't really know the plot of planes, trains, and automobiles, but I think it's something like that. We traveled to Mexico for a wedding with Parker, who's 3. And if you've maybe seen the article on Instagram, there's like a crazy like delay in passport things. And I was super ahead of the game, like way more than I normally would have been. But still, my passport wasn't here. And there was all this crazy stuff that I won't bore you with. I'd love to, though, because I'd really like to give a play-by-play of the week before where I'm on the phone for 14 hours holding. But I like flew to a different state, got the passport, got back, whatever, went. That's not the point. You can cut all that. The point is...
No, I think it's important to know that you had to fly before your trip. You had to take a pre-trip to get your passport and fly back. That's a lot. Actually,
to the city that we were flying through to get to Mexico, but I was like, I cannot.
Right.
And Eric was like, I'll just fly through. And I was like, I literally have to like still, I was like, no. Yeah, that's like 5 a.m. flight. Almost missed the flight too, because I just fully slept through, but we got it, made it, good, whatever. Trip was great. There was drama, but it wasn't our drama, which is fun. I mean, not fun that other people have drama.
No, but it's
in the interest of
honestly,
like soap operas.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a relief. It gives you and your partner something where you're on the same team. If there's other drama, then it gives you guys something to talk about instead of focus on any potential drama yourself.
On your side.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was good. And, so Parker was going to be the ring bearer in the wedding. And about 3 hours before the wedding, he kind of was just tired. And then when I got back to like, from getting my hair done or whatever, to change, like get him ready. And we've been planning this for months, getting his outfit, all these things, like a little shell, because it's a beach wedding. He's going to carry it down the aisle, all these things. He was getting sick. I think it was a bug, like a 24-hour bug, but literally thrown up at the wedding. Couldn't walk down the aisle, like whatever. So that was crazy, but one of those like mom experiences that you're like,
Yes.
yeah, like literally just in the place like where the bride was going to walk, just like,
Just like,
all over.
how is this happening?
Yeah. But he was super it was a beautiful wedding and really heartfelt, and they're like gorgeous couple and really sweet and perfect and wonderful for each other.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
They haven't had kids yet, whatever.
Yeah. It's all just early.
Beautiful.
They don't know it's downhill from here.
They're so green.
Peaked now, baby. You peaked now.
And he watched the wedding and was like really engaged in it. And he had this, I don't know if it was like the trauma of getting sick at the wedding or the travel or what, but like 2 days before we got back, had this cognitive leap, and he like understands things in this whole other way, and I can like reason with him in a different way. So that's really fun, and things seem easier. And then, 2 days before we got back is when the covenant shooting happened, and then so for the last 2 weeks I've just been like catatonic. I feel like everyone has a different response, and I haven't felt what I see other people feeling exactly. I've just felt like numb. We had some personal ties, and I don't know. I've just been really
I didn't realize
in grief mode.
I didn't realize that you were out of town when it happened.
Yeah, that's my check-in. Light.
Easy breezy.
Keeping it easy. Yes. I like that.
What about you?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I had a moment last night where their age difference seemed to be coming together a little bit. Because, I mean, the whole point of this is to be like, okay, you both want my attention, but just get it from each other. Like, that's what you can fill all the voids, and you do not need me for this.
Yes.
So they just don't do that. They both still, like, Ava's bored. Penny wants attention. I'm like, if you're bored, go do something with Penny, and then everybody wins. But there was a moment last night where, like, she can pretty much do bath time with Penny by herself for the most part. And so there was just a moment last night where they were just giggling with each other and entertaining each other. And I had that being like, this is one of those moments. Just like soak it in, feel it. So someone's going to be pissed off in the next 5 minutes, and this moment is going to be gone. So I just like took a second to just feel the sweetness and the, I don't know. Tried to make it special.
That's awesome.
In my mind.
I love that.
Ava had an emotional night the other night, which of course I'm still trying to balance. Is this because it's bedtime? And this is like, she doesn't come to me with things that she wants to talk about before bed. And she said, Mom, I feel like I'm 7 and I just want a friend that also feels like they're 7. Like she still feels like a little kid so much inside. And she is the silliest of all of her closest friends for sure.
That's really cool.
I was just trying to tell her, like, you're so close to being in a new school. The older you get, the more people you meet. You're going to meet so many more people. I promise you, you're going to find your people. But you can tell just her awareness that she's aware that she's missing something that she needs. And it's like, yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling. It was just felt nice, her getting older and being more aware in a way that I can relate. Like I can really put myself in her position of how she's feeling, which is going to help me instead of just be reactionary or annoyed or being the mom. I can, go down to her to that level and be like, yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry.
I think her saying that she feels 7 and wants a friend that 7 speaks, I think that speaks really highly of your parenting, that she's not like rushing
to grow up.
Yes, because that's exactly the age where I started just like pedal to the metal, completely wanted to be 20.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so good that she's not in that place. That's huge, I think.
I agree.
She's really good at playing with younger kids because of that. And I was hoping that having Penny around would keep her in that kind of childlike headspace for longer. Not physically. I think that's what I'm ready to be over, is like, she still moves around like she's 7, but she's in an almost 11-year-old body. And I'm like, dude, you can't just like crawl all over me. Like, I need you have to give people their personal space. We watched a video of her from when she was 4 and we were at Disney World in the hotel room, and she's standing on the bed with just underwear on, and she's like, the Ava Todd booty show.
I remember that.
She's looking like an insane person. It gave me so much validation about how I feel towards her sometimes. And I looked at her and I was like, you are exactly the same. Everything she was doing at 4 on this bed is something she would do now. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's why I'm like,
Right.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
Yes.
It made me feel like you're not going crazy. She still is so wild.
That's it. She's at a point too it's that one of those transitions. Mm-hmm. And I think when you think about, moving from whether you're moving to elementary to middle or middle to high school or high school to college, it's that looks different for every kid, and how they process that looks different. And even if it's the good stress of I'm getting to do something new, it's still stressful.
Yeah.
Even if it's something I'm excited about. And then you have others who are like, no, I am perfectly content where I am. Just going to stay where I am.
Yeah.
But the processing of it, I think you can see it just kind of varies kid by kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How was your week, Kellee?
My week was great. Let's see. It really was. I mean, even last night dealing with a kid with stitches, we're a big kind of busy family. So when they were little, I would tell them sometimes like on a Friday or Saturday night, they would all be like running around and jumping and climbing, and because they're so close, it was like Wolverines. It was like a pack of Wolverines, like those old commercials or cartoons where you just see like the dust and something rolling around. That was sort of them. And I would tell them sometimes on like Friday or Saturday night, if you break or cut something, it is a butterfly, and I'm just going to put a piece of wood and stent it until the morning. Like, just know that I am not putting clothes back on. I am not putting underwear on. We are not leaving the house.
You are living with this wound through the whole
exactly.
evening.
So just know we're not leaving the house. So I'm just going to butterfly it together, and we'll hope in the morning, like we'll go and get it addressed when they would get too wild. So
did it
I
ever
remember
happen?
that when I was little. I don't know. We one year we all got stitches. My son even hit me in the eye with a shovel. We were trying to garden together. I told you I've been trying to garden forever. He whacked me in the eye when I had to drive myself to get stitches. So,
What did you mean you've been renovating a house for 20 years?
well, so I moved to East Nashville 20 years ago, and our house is old, and it had never been renovated. So it was like it originally was.
Right.
And we just moved in and didn't have the money for like a full, bringing in a team of professionals. I'm fortunate. My husband is very handy. He is
That's
one of those
awesome.
people who can do and fix anything. But it also means that you can never hire anyone to do or fix anything.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
I'll get to it.
I'll get
I
to
got
it. Yeah. So
You don't trust me? You don't think I can do it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you can never hire anyone. That can never happen. You have to do it all yourself. So it was like a room by room kind of endeavor. First just to get it first where we're kind of livable, and then sort of moving through it. So I feel like it never gets done. It doesn't feel like one of those TV moments where they come in and fix the whole house, and they bring you in, unblindfold you, and they're like, surprise, you get to move in. No, I've never felt like that. I know.
Yeah.
So that's what I said for 20 years. So I just keep moving from space to space.
Do you feel like you are at a place where you're close to feeling like it's what you thought in your mind?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's getting close. I kind of wonder what I am going to do with myself, because I truly don't really have hobbies or things. If I'm not doing work stuff and I'm not doing kid stuff, then I'm kind of doing something in the
Sleeping.
house. No, or I'll get a crazy idea. It was like for spring break a while back, and we weren't going anywhere, and it's like, I think I'll just wallpaper the hall.
Oh, yeah, my sister-in-law's like
See,
that.
that's it. So then that's what I do. I'm like, I'm just going to wallpaper the hall.
Yeah, you'll never be done.
So that's what I think.
got it.
I think part of it is that I inflict it upon myself.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I really
okay.
think I
know
need to
people
do
like
it.
you. Yes.
But so I that's why I don't know if I ever will get done. We just will keep rotating around.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Go back to the room.
Got it.
Do you have a hard time resting? Like, do you feel like in your downtime you need to be doing something productive?
Yes, I'm not good at resting at all.
Yeah.
I am either up and doing things and on all of those, and then or I am just like out and it's kind of done.
Is that your military dad? Like, do you
I think it's my temperament. I'm not particularly good at being still. It makes me a little anxious. I'm looking around, and I don't ever feel like because things, I've got dishes in the sink or laundry's piled up somewhere.
It's gonna weigh on you.
Yes, I have a hard time relaxing and doing those things. So I think it's just a temperament issue.
How much food do 3 teenagers go through?
An ungodly amount.
What's milk like? What about milk? Do they drink dairy?
Not a lot, but when they were younger, luckily, it's almost worse now because we can't have a whole fridge full of food, and we have nothing to eat. Oh my God, Mom, can you just Venmo me some money? We have nothing to eat. And I named 10 things that you could make, literally with very little effort. No, just send me some money. So, yeah.
What do they want you the Venmo for? To do what with?
Just to go out and eat, because
just
eating
wherever.
at home, wherever.
Okay.
Yeah, because eating at home is
just the worst.
It's just the worst.
Is it walkable? Can they, or I guess they can drive.
They can
now.
drive.
Okay, got it.
They can drive. But before they could drive, they would walk, because we live right off of a road where there's, a gas station at the end, and a burger place, and a wings place.
Hey, Momcult listeners, I am just here once again to remind you, if you are looking for a quick, easy, and homemade delicious meal any night of the week, look no further than Mr. Aaron's Goods. I just got some delivered to my doorstep yesterday and was so excited to eat some very good pasta last night, and it did not disappoint, and it took me maybe less than 10 minutes. They are family owned and operated. Good people, good goods, and for a limited time, Momcult listeners can get 20% off their entire purchase. Just use code Momcult at checkout on MrAaronsGoods.com, MrAarons Goods.com. Do you have, if you could tell parents something they might not know, or something that you would want parents to know about principles in general, what would you tell them?
What would you say? I think what I hope parents know is that generally, in schools, teachers, principals, whomever, your goal is for the best outcome for kids. And it is sometimes maybe in the balance you come up short on one side or the other or something like that. But that's always the goal. That is always the goal. And that's always what you're working for. And if you do fall short of it, sometimes it's the human nature side of it. And sometimes I'll tell parents, teachers have the same stressors you do. They are going home to unruly kids. They're going home to divorce. They're going home to someone who's lost a job. And just as all of us struggle to compartmentalize that and come in and do something else, teachers aren't any different. Sometimes that's a little bit hard.
Yeah. What did COVID look like for you?
Both as a mom and both.
I mean, whatever you got time for.
Whatever I got time for, I got time. So I think once we got into it, I almost feel bad saying this, but it was peaceful for a little while.
Yeah.
Because my kids are older, and this is as your children get older, you just have to sort of learn to operate on the optimistic, everything is okay. Like they're out, they're doing whatever, everything's fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's good. Because if your mind goes to a place where it's not good, that's difficult. And when you have busy families and people going different places, for a moment, we all were still.
Right.
And it was nice. And it was like everybody was at the house.
And your kids can't be mad at you about it because it's not,
I know.
You're like, I can't, they already know you're not in control.
And that's the greatest thing. It's like, no, you can't go out and do that because of COVID.
Because it's the law.
It's the law. There's people outside. It's the COVID law. That sort of thing. So that was a little bit nice to have a moment to kind of slow down. And then it wasn't nice. Right. But for a moment, it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And school-wise, how was it then?
There was a big learning curve, but it was, I think for everybody, it was kind of impressive how quickly we can pivot. And it does show what we're all capable of as parents, as educators. Look, how quickly, when a situation happens, you can, within a week or two, have a structure in place that something's different. We're going to do it this way. So I think that's kind of optimistic. That shows us what we're all capable of if there is a situation we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of you kind of trying to always maintain that headspace of everything's going to be fine. We're going to get through this. What helps keep you from that running low? What helps you fill the well when you aren't feeling that way.
When I'm not feeling, when I'm not just totally optimistic. And it's not fake optimism.
Right.
Yes. I would say I've always been a bit of an optimistic fatalist, so it kind of helps when that's your mindset and your temperament.
What's that mean? Like you do, optimistic to a fault?
No, I'm probably fatalist enough to sort of assume that what's going to happen in life is going to happen, but I'm optimistic enough to think it can possibly happen to me.
Oh, yeah,
it can happen
yeah.
to my people. So that's sort of how I work.
Yeah.
I don't, do a lot of fist clutching about why did this happen. I'm like, oh, life happens. Just what it is. But I just go into it.
Surely it can only happen to me. Like the percentage can't be that high.
It's a numbers game. How often?
It does.
Let's run the numbers on this. We are going to be fine. We are totally fine. We are totally fine. So I think that helps a little bit. And what was the question before that? I forgot. What did you say?
How do you fill the well to keep that
how do I do that?
Yeah.
And that is hard because I don't really
have any hobbies.
I don't have hobbies.
Yeah,
apparently I do. I think I've come to the realization that maybe that kind of piddling on projects and doing things is what helps fill the well.
Yeah.
Because I don't always feel particularly rejuvenated after going out to like a party or a dinner. I do it and I'm dressed up and I have a good time.
But you have to be social all the time at school. Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go do that again. So here we go. So I think maybe it must be projects. It must be kind of some piddling and some things around my house that do it.
That's creative.
I mean, I think so. I think because it gives me a chance to be creative. It gives me a chance to say, we're going to put this wallpaper and we're going to paint this and we're going to do this, or we're going to try to garden. Like I said, I keep trying. I don't know. I'm not the greatest at it, but I keep trying.
Yeah.
So I think that those things probably do it a little bit. And I don't know. That's why I'm a little bit looking ahead, because I'm almost, moving toward the end of this journey. So I've got one that's leaving in the fall, and then I've got a senior. So I got one more year, and then she will be gone somewhere. And then I just have sort of one more behind it.
Yeah.
Circling back to now, what do I do with all this time that I have?
Yeah. It's
going to be great.
What do you think you're going to do?
It's going to be spectacular. I know it's going to be. I can hardly wait.
You're going to feel every second.
Every second.
No grief. No. All good things.
No, there will be no crying. We will rejoice. It will be great the whole time. Yes. I mean, I actually came on a college tour like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the whole time I'm walking, I'm doing that trick.
Skipping.
I am. No, I'm actually doing that trick of like looking up. So I don't start to think like, you're going to come live in this space and I'm not going to know what you're doing. I still don't know what you're doing now, but you're going to be down here. And it's like, it's great. These aren't tears. This is just allergies. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of allergies here. Maybe you shouldn't go here.
Yes, I really think there's a lot of allergies in this. This campus is very allergic. I don't know what's happening, but that's kind of what I think it'll be interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. I've kind of wondered about that. Like, what do I do in my next phase of life?
It's exciting.
I know. It is exciting.
Do you still feel, what age do you feel in your head?
So in my head, I think we all, let's see, I still think I'm in my 20s. I know I'm not, but I am convinced that I am.
Yeah.
And then I worked in my garden. I weeded the flower beds on Good Friday. And Monday,
couldn't move.
I mean, like, shit still hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? I worked. All I did was literally bend my knees and pull weeds. This was not real labor. This was not, like, super rough. And yet, I was walking into work on Monday like, oh, my elbow is still, what's happening? So, but I think, don't we all still think that that's kind of our peak? When you have this picture in your head of, what you think you look like, and what you think you are, versus what you really are.
Yeah, I was asking that because when they are gone and you do have that time back, do you think you'll do things with that time that the 20-something in your head wants to do? Like, will you guys try to go travel, but I guess you're still. Do you see yourself? I guess, when do you see yourself not being a principal anymore? And
I don't know. That's interesting, because I've got about 25 years kind of in the gig. So still feeling good, still loving it, and doing all those things now.
Yeah. I guess you'll have your summers.
No, I work year round.
Oh, man.
No, yeah. I'm a year round, like 3 days of Thanksgiving, 3 days of Christmas type job with vacation time with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've actually kind of been wondering about that. Like, what do I do? Because I love to travel. I do like that. I like doing creative things. I know.
Let's figure
let's
this
workshop
out.
this.
Yes. What could I do with my life? I know. So it's something to think about. It is.
Interesting.
When do you get to reinvent yourself again? Because you think, you get to do it a few times throughout your life.
Yep.
You get to decide, I'm moving past this phase and I'm going to do something else. Or I'm not happy here, I'm going to do something else. So what will the next one look like? Who knows?
I want to see what happens.
Time will tell.
I'm here for it.
Exactly. Time will tell.
I feel like I've always been aware of already trying to fill that void with something I really like to do, just so it doesn't feel like I'm just totally empty when they're gone. Like them being gone and then going, okay, now what do I want to do? I feel like I'm already scrambling to have things in place so that probably just the illusion that I won't grieve as much. But you were saying you're already starting to feel some of that grief.
I'm excited for him. I really am. I mean, the whole goal of raising them was for them to leave. That is the point.
Is he going far away?
No, he's only going to go a couple hours away. So enough that
A couple of hours, though.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to go like far, far away, and just by the time you run the numbers and all those things, it's like, just do this. This will be good. But no, so that is the point of it, is to get them to where they don't want to live with me anymore. Right? It's ultimately the goal. Because that is the goal. And it's a short window of your life. When you think about it, you've got a lot of life. I had a lot of life before I had kids, because I have kids, so I was in my 30s. So had big, busy life before that. And there'll be this little window in the middle. And then if I'm really lucky, I get some time at the end where I get to have, kind of go through there. So it's a small window.
Yeah, I feel that already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parker looks 7, I feel like now. He's so tall, and he's only 3. And I'm like, it's fleeting. We're talking about kindergarten, and it's just so crazy. I mean, like, I know when I look at other people's kids, they're all of a sudden 5. Every time I'm like, how are they in kindergarten? Always. Right. And I didn't think that I would feel that way with my own kid, but it does feel like that. How is he already?
Time seems to speed up. At least at least at the faraway view. The day-to-day of it, is 1,000 hours in every day. When you are sitting on the side of the bathtub and doing all that, physical type parenting that you have to do when kids are little. And then, that sort of passes, and then you have to figure out the other kind of parenting to do.
Do you feel like there's a phase that stuck out to you that was the hardest?
I don't know if any one was harder than the other. They were just different. Yeah. I mean, I did think when you think about when they're little, you have to get up whenever they get up, because they certainly can't get up by themselves. And you're cleaning up their toys, and you're playing, and you just have to, sitting on the side of the tub at night. It just was a lot of being on. And then they get older, and you don't have to do that part, but then you have to take them to a million places. We're going to drive here, we're going to drive here. And no matter how many times you say you're not going to do it, you are going to sign them up for a bunch of ridiculous things and make sure they're really, fully actualized, well-rounded. Well-rounded people. Would you like to dance? Oh, you would? Okay, how about, would you like to take piano lessons? Oh, let's go take piano lessons. Oh, let's do that. Oh, you like sports? Okay, let's go. Oh, let's go do it. It's perfect. I didn't have anything to do at Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Come on. Totally your time. So you say you're not going to do it, and you do it. So you move to that phase, and then when you get kind of, when they get the older place, they are pulling away from you, which is what they're supposed to do. I'm not supposed to be their priority anymore. They're pulling away. They're getting their own identity. So then I'm doing that obnoxious thing of blowing up their phone on their Find My Phones because they won't respond to my text.
Right.
So I keep hitting that little thing that makes the alarm go off. And then they're like, Mom, stop. I'm like, but respond to my text.
And just text me back.
Yeah, I said, respond, please, and you didn't respond.
I asked very nicely, too.
Yes. I sent a text, you didn't respond. I tried to call you, you didn't answer. I then said, respond, please, you didn't respond. So now I'm just going to keep hitting this alarm.
This is how this works.
Yes. They're like, Mom, stop.
What ages were they? So when technology, like internet, cell phones, social media, when all of that kind of how old were they when that became something
a
that
thing.
you had to deal with and figure out how to implement into your family?
Luckily, they were more into middle school.
Yeah.
It really, being a little bit older, I think it's harder now. I think it's harder because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had to get on the morning announcements, and I do a little morning show, like I'm on the news. And so I do my morning show, and yesterday, I had a little fussing on my morning show at school about cell phones.
Yeah.
About, I need your cell phone turned off and in your backpack.
Right.
And I said, girls, I know you all have your super cute little purses. I understand. But I'm like, I need the phone in the backpack. And I can talk about why I don't know that we all need phones. I mean, I certainly don't know that 10 and 11-year-olds need them all the time. But I also can always find those outliers where a parent says, but they go with so-and-so in the afternoon. Or
this is my way to keep in touch with them later.
Yeah, they're not going to be with me. They're going to be with a grandparent, or they're going to another parent's house or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Gone are the days where we all have the home phone with the cord that we all call and check up on each other. So, yeah. So luckily we didn't have to do that till middle school.
Yeah.
Which was helpful.
We talk a lot about that. Do you have like this is the ideal age when I would give a kid a cell phone, like in a perfect world?
Perfect world. I don't know. I do think middle school, I think generally when you're still in elementary school, you're with your parent. You're with a grown-up.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. And I don't think you have quite the maturity to handle that level of access. And I would think, earlier we were talking about safety. It's interesting with the phone that we are willing to let anyone and anything into our kids' lives with a phone. But we don't view that as, is this the safest activity?
Yeah, I think it's starting to get a little better. I'm hoping the pendulum swings so much the other way towards safety and technology. And then we can maybe dial it down and find some middle ground. But I feel like we're still kind of waiting for that swing to be like, hey, this is a big deal.
And we all trust our
kids. Kind of
kids.
Casually. Yeah.
I mean, I think that the other part is every parent generally trusts their kids. So when you even hear of a situation or something's going on, oh, that's somebody else's kid. My kid would never do that.
Right.
That's somebody else's kid who's done that. And then you happen to look in and see their text, and it's like, oh, no, that was my kid that did that. And that's just the other part. We want to believe our kids. All the time. Right. Don't believe your kids all the time.
So my one piece of advice.
Yes. That's
Stop
my
trusting
PSA.
your kids.
Yes. Do not believe them.
Did you ask that already? What if you could give parents one piece of advice?
I didn't ask. Well, I asked that as a principal.
Yes.
But just as a mom. I mean, you've already given some tidbits of balance and all that. But do you have anything? I
think I would say this, that, and again, maybe this is not healthy and maybe it's my age, but a little bit of loving to learn. You got to learn to love the grind and not think, when I get done with this, it's going to get this way. When this gets finished, you got to find a way to love the grind, because that's what parenting is. It is a grind, and it looks different when they're little or when they're middle age or when they're older. But you just have to find a way to love that. Otherwise, you spend all of your time waiting that tomorrow's going to be easier. Right. Tomorrow I am going to have it together. Tomorrow's my day. I'm going to be ready. Then tomorrow doesn't come. So just learn to love the grind that you're in, and I think that all moms we're really hard on ourselves, and I think at this point I've just let a bunch of that go. I'm like, to hell with it. I'm not going to be hard on myself anymore. I'm just kind of done with that. I was watching the other night. I watched that Jason Isbell, Amanda Shire special that's on HBO, and he used the airplane analogy. He was talking about work, and he was saying, I love my family, but my work is the mask, and I have to put my mask on first before I can be there for them. Yeah. And so I think that's okay. That's what we need to get. It's totally fine. Find what it is that's your mask and get that on. And if that's work, or if that's a hobby, or stay at home, whatever that is, just do it. And then you can be there for everybody else. Yeah.
What helped you kind of come to that place of the stop? Like, I'm done being hard on myself about this.
Perspective. Where I have an advantage is that because I work in a job for 25 years, and I have worked in every type of school there is. I have worked with kids that are really wealthy, and I have worked with very blue-collar families, and I've worked with immigrant families, and I've worked with families that are poor, so I've had the perspective. What that sometimes lets you do, and this is, you see some things that are somewhat horrific. So sometimes when either people or society or even your kids are just being ridiculous, and again, I don't want to minimize their feelings, but it's like, just get over yourself.
Right.
There's real trauma in the world. There's really bad things that happen, and you're going to cry and be pissed over this? No, we're not. We're going to move on. So, Again, I'm not saying it's healthy. There's probably somebody on here who's like, oh, never tell children that. You are not valuing their emotions and their feelings. And I'm like, no, but I'm authenticating them, okay? So there you go.
Did it feel like your kids had to be a certain age, or you had to be a certain age to be like, yeah, I'm letting this go? Or feeling ready to let it go?
It took a little while. It took a little while. I will say I think that the volume of children I have helps, because I get to stand back a little bit and be like, well, if y'all just had 3, you wouldn't know how difficult it is. Right. So it gives me a nice little touch of arrogance and all things like
a trump card. Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what people with 2 children totally do. Like, wait till you have 3. Wait till you have 3 and you have to do it. And then once you do it, you're like, oh, I'm totally the expert at this. What are y'all talking about? So I do think that helped a little bit. When they were little, really little, and I hadn't gone back to work for the 3rd one yet, I decided I was going to get out of the house by myself, and you stayed home and you've done all that stuff. So we needed groceries. So I get them all in the car seat. I get myself ready. I'm like, okay, I literally have 3 car seats in the car. I got 1 in a bucket that's brand new, and then 2 in a car seat. And I get them, and I've got clothes on, and we're all like, we're going to go to the grocery store. So here we go.
I think it's very important to note that you were also able to get your clothes on.
I know. I was really worried about that. Like, I checked twice. Does everything, do I have the same shoes on? Did I put on 2 different, it could happen. Like, is everything there before I step out in public? And so we go to the grocery store, and we walk in, and I put the bucket seat, there in the top of the buggy. Mm-hmm. And then I put the one who's just turned 3, who's just like crazy wild. So I put her in the buggy. Mm-hmm. And then I tell the 4-year-old, you have to walk and hold on to the buggy. Mm-hmm. There's no more room for any damn groceries. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing left.
Why am I here?
That's what I did. I walked around, and it was like I put coffee, and I put some cream, and I put some diapers, and I put some wipes, and I'm like, yeah, we're going home. That was and it was 4 hours of prepping and planning. And I thought that was what we did. Yeah. Okay, so I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Right. That was ridiculous. So we started there, but I think, maybe when you get in your 40s, it gets easier. I don't know how y'all do it, but
that's what I've heard. I'm getting close, and I'm honestly, I'm still, the number itself sounds insane to me, but I am excited about what comes with your 40s emotionally, like the emotional maturity that I'm hoping I will gain.
Yeah.
You have mentioned several times, like, something not being the most healthy, and
yes.
As someone who generally, came into adulthood with unhealthy perspectives and works hard to, think healthily, I feel like, just to speak as an aficionado of health. I think,
do tell. Yes.
Your perspectives, everybody's, what works for everybody's different. And I think everything that you said is super healthy. Mm-hmm. I think you are, for what it's worth, you appear to me to be like incredibly
I probably
healthy.
am. I worry that I do sometimes minimize things because I'm not particularly sincere, or I am the laugh at the wrong time. Make the comment,
Sarah
and people
and I
look at me.
Like that too.
Okay, good, because people look at me and I'm like, oh, sorry. Okay, I thought that was funny.
Right.
The use of humor, and I guess where I notice it different is that, and I notice from parents, there's more discussion with kids. There's more of, well, so what I hear you saying is, a lot of that, well, okay, so help me understand. And sometimes I'm just like, I need you to sit down.
Well, okay, all that, but with so many, I was thinking, like, with all that, you have so many people's kids in there's no way you can't
No, you can't gentle
I'm not
parent
say
all of them.
but
Yeah.
no, that's our job. If we decide to do that, you need to. That's
But
not
I don't
your-
even can do it with my own kids because I'm
Right.
like, no, I need you to sit down.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me the keys. Do you want me to take the phone? I will take the phone. I've got.
Why are you making me be like
Yes. This is not who I am. It is your fault that I am like this way. You did this to me. You did this to me.
Well, we got about like 5 minutes to do a quick pop culture corner, even though we don't have.
Yeah,
Is
did
there
Did
some?
you say something about medieval? What were you saying?
Oh, so I had recently read this article. So I'm not a great sleeper. Like I'm tired, but I always wake up at like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I am wide awake, and I have to be really quiet because everybody's asleep. And I was like, do I just lay here? I have a Kindle that has some like really romantic-y, smutty books that don't involve a lot of thought, but I have to do something to pass the time.
Give me your list.
Oh, I have a lot. But I read this article about this thing called like double sleep. And apparently, and it makes sense. I'm like, this is me. So you think about in the olden times, probably about 8 or 9 o'clock, it's dark.
Right.
You've really worked physically. But it's hard to go to sleep at 8 o'clock and sleep until the sun comes up. So then they would wake up in the middle of the night. And depending upon your social class, you either had to get up and do some work, or you might just get up and have a moment, and you might paint, and I guess like monks prayed or whatever they do. And then you go back to sleep, and then you sleep a few more hours, and then the sun wakes you up.
Interesting.
And I thought, that is me. I don't have problems sleeping. I am perfectly fine.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is me. So that's when I was texting you all the other night. It was when I was wide awake. I'm like,
That's so
I'm
funny.
like a kid. I have my blanket over my head with my phone. Richard's like over there just sleeping the king sleep, I guess. And I'm over there, 12-year-old me with my
you're just
blanket
the
over my head.
peasant
Yes.
cleaning in the middle of the night.
Yes. I get up, I let the
Changing
dogs
his
out.
bedpan.
Exactly. Let's let the dogs out, sir. Would
chamber
you
pot.
like something? Yes.
Chamber pot.
Let me fan you. It's a little stuffy in here. What in the world?
Wallpapering.
Yes, exactly. That's when I decided to wallpaper, try something. So
Oh
I
my
love that.
gosh. Thank you so much. This was everything that I hoped and knew it would be. And I'm, maybe this makes up for me not being involved in the PTA for the last 6 years.
sure, yes, it does. Yes,
That's what she needs to hear.
That's what it is.
This
Yes.
is my gift to the mothers.
Yeah.
I gave you a mic. What more do you want?
Yeah.
What more could you have asked for? No, I thank you all for having me on here. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for
so
coming.
fun.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Really. This was awesome.
We're gonna miss all you guys, but hopefully Penny will get to
Circle
be
back.
there, get to circle back.
Follow Joy at Tiffica and me at Sarah Parker Massey. And Miss Akers, Kellee Akers.
Yes.
Do you want to be followed?
It's very exciting. Let me just tell you, it changed your life. I do have the socials, so feel free. And I think it's just my name.
Look her up.
Just
Yeah,
look her
you'll
up.
figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Kellee.
Correct.
Okay, Kellee Akers. And something's coming. I feel like I like to predict what they're going to do with their Instagrams, and I feel like yours is going to be cool.
Yeah,
It's
y'all have
your next
inspired me
phase.
now. I'm going to have to up my game. Okay, I'm going to
Although
get
I'm
on
not
it.
sure that's going to be fulfilling enough. It'll be broader, but
Right.
I bet you'll show what you're doing. Yeah.
We'll see.
Show us that wallpaper.
Okay, bye.
Bye.